is market yourself.
Sorry, stop. It wasn't standby. We'll start again. Sorry. This time we're recording.
Wasn't looking, wasn't searching for.
Hello, I'm Devious, and welcome here to San Diego, where we're at 3 Generations of Magic. And here I am today with Earl Chaney. He's the original Ronald McDonald. And the hardest thing to do as a magician is to market yourself, because people have seen the rings and the ropes and the bunnies and all that. So the hardest thing to do is market yourself as a magician. How are you different? And so I want to ask Earl Chaney, how is it that you marketed yourself as a guy that McDonald's was the #1 guy in marketing?
Well, before McDonald's, I was Ringling Brothers in Marvin Bailey Circus for years. So, as far as marketing, anyone, yourself or anybody else, I think, is to try to be an individual and be different than anybody else. And the way you do that, I've always told everybody that I've ever even tried to help, the way to become known or anything else in the business and become good and successful on stage, more than marketing, is being your own magician, being unique. And what I mean by that is no ego, because I hate them. I hate egos. But the biggest thing is charisma. If you get some kind of charisma that people can recognize when you walk in a room and everybody realizes you're there. Charisma on stage is what the whole marketing thing is about. Because then you will be somebody. You will be known. Because how many big stars are there in it? Not very many. Big magicians, not very many. And the ones that anybody notices on stage has something about them that nobody else has, and that's charisma. It's not a marketing thing. Otherwise, when I moved to Vegas, I did it all by word of mouth. And I started actually in a magazine called, a little newsletter called Nifty Nickel. And I did advertise in that for 5 years. But I tried to have a unique show. I worked 1 year, I came right off of Ringling and moved to Vegas, and I worked 1 year in my backyard of my ranch to create a birthday party, to make it unique. And from that, just my clown character, or your character as a magician, you know what makes you unique and original too, and good marketing, is, and they've said it before, a good actor makes a good magician, or a good clown, or good anything. So I suggest everybody goes to acting school to become as good as you can as being an actor, and that makes you original and unique, and that's where charisma comes out. And then you don't have to do much marketing, because you can do it all by word of mouth. After about a year, every casino owner in Las Vegas, I was the only. Do you live here?
Yes.
See, living in a smaller area with not as many people like in Vegas, I think is a unique thing too. It's a way to market yourself. Everybody who comes to me says, well, I'm the only one that lives in the town I'm in. I said, do you know how gifted you are to do this? Because come to Vegas where there's thousands of clowns and magicians come to Vegas trying to work. They'll never get work.
And I want to tell you, yeah, here in San Diego, you would think that we have a lot of world-class entertainment as far as magicians go, but we really don't.
And that's great, because I believe San Diego is a good area. I know a lot of people down here. The less the magicians, the less the clowns, the less the entertainers, the more opportunity you have. And so you've self-marketed yourself already by just being in a place that's not saturated. Everybody comes to Vegas thinks they're going to make it, and that's not true. They come in and they lose all their money and they go home with nothing and disappointed because they can't work. Well, I gave it, you know how I believe it should be two. I gave Vegas 5 years to work just like a small business. If you take on yourself as a magician or whatever you're doing in the entertainment business, it's a small business. You're not going to do it overnight. Sure. So 5 years, give yourself 5 years. I figured, I'm from Oklahoma originally. I was born and raised in Oklahoma City. I thought, if I don't make it in 5 years, I'll go home. And I did make it in 5 years. Pretty soon everybody knew who I was, and I was working for all the casino owners. And I started working the shows. And my hardest thing to work into publicly was conventions, trade
I think what I would like to ask you, a lot of people wonder whatever happened to the original. What are you doing these days with yourself?
I do, thank goodness McDonald's very, very good to me, like Pele.
And Ray Kroc lives here in San Diego,
And so they healed me pretty good, and I'm retired or semi-retired. I get to do what I want to do, but I still do conventions. I'm a whatever it means. I'm a Hall of Famer, Found Hall of Fame. And my next thing I go to is I'm headlining in Jacksonville, Florida in September.
How long are you going to be there for?
I'll be there a week to start with, and we'll go from there and see what we're doing.
Look for that. Earl Chaney. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I wish I had my camera.